A very good morning, class 10 students. I welcome you all on this online platform provided by Jagrati Classes. So today we are going to continue with our chapter 12, Electricity. So this video lecture is for class 10 students and we are doing chapter 12, Electricity of class 10th. Okay? So we have done many concepts of this chapter and in the last video lecture we have seen the combination of resistors and I told you how you can solve the numerical questions according to combination. One more question I provided you as a homework to solve. In fact, I told you in that homework which resistance were in parallel, which were in series. You were only required to find the answer. And the next task which I gave you was to practice all the combination questions. That is all the questions related to combination of resistors given in your books. So I hope you have done those and you have no doubts. Now I hope you can solve any of the questions which you will be getting to find the effective resistance. So now moving on to the next topic, and this would be our last class for this chapter. Okay, for this chapter we will be doing this chapter. Now we have only two topics to be discussed. One is the heating effect of current and the next one is electric power. So let's start with the chapter heating effect of electric current. So now what do you understand by this term heating effect of electric current? We can say that electric current, whenever a current flows through a conductor, that is any metallic wire. So current flowing through a wire, it produces heat. And this concept we have experienced, every one of you have experienced this, I know, in your day-to-day life. Because we are now using these electronic gadgets and you know that, okay, whenever you are using your PC or laptop, or you can say the mobile, everyone uses a mobile phone. So whenever we use it for a longer time, then it gets warmed up, okay, it feels hot. Why? So this is the reason, that is electric current produces a heating effect. All these electric gadgets, they are working on electricity or electric current. And when current is flowing through your gadgets, then it is being transformed into heat energy. And we know that there is a law of conservation of energy. What does law of conservation of energy means? Law of conservation of energy means energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Energy, you cannot make any new energy or you cannot destroy that energy. This energy can only be converted from one to the other form. So this is law of conservation of energy. And based on this particular law, you have heating effect. That is, let's suppose you have a wire here. Okay, this is your metallic wire or conductor through which current I is flowing. Now this current I, when it flows, then it produces heating effect or heat energy. Why this is so? If we need to understand, let's suppose, now if we see the atomic picture of this wire, I told you every wire, it is made up of atoms. Everything, in fact, every matter is made up of atoms. So let's suppose these are the atoms of wire which we have. Now I told you every atom would have in its center the nucleus which contain the positively charged protons and the non-charged or neutral neutrons. So we know that this is the middle region which contains the nucleus, and except the nucleus or besides the nucleus, you have electrons in your atoms. So we'll have electrons, some of the electrons, they move straight, and then some of the electrons, because of repulsion by this nucleus, that is because of the repulsion or attraction forces, these electrons do not get a space to move. And why electrons are moving? Because movement of electrons produces electricity. So this motion of electrons in a particular time, this gives you the amount of current produced. Current is what? Current is rate of motion of charges, that is Q by T. Charge is electron here, and when this charge is moving along this wire, then it is producing a electric current. So electrons, some of the electrons, they get the space that they pass through the wire, and some of the electrons, they collide, okay, they are colliding, and then they pass through the wire, that is, they follow a zigzag type of path. So this is the reason, and this, that is the why these electrons are following a zigzag path, because there are some of the opposing forces. So this opposing forces, we have already named them. What you call this opposing force or the restriction in the flow of charges? Correct. It is known as resistance. So resistance is what? Resistance is the opposition offered in the motion or movement of electrons, okay, in the movement of charges. And we have already discussed a very lot about resistance. So resistance is what? It is the opposition or the restriction offered in the flow of electrons. Why it is offered, I have told you, because you know, except electrons, you have the atoms present, and these atoms are present in the path of electrons, so the electrons cannot move straight, and it has to follow a zigzag path while it is passing through the wire. So current is flowing, it means you have the flow of electrons, and these electrons, they are following a zigzag path. So whenever they collide with an atom, okay, we say that here the electrons are moving. It means the electrons have kinetic energy, because the energy possessed by any moving object is known as kinetic energy. So each electron which is moving, it has kinetic energy with it. Now this kinetic energy, according to the law of conservation, when the electron collides with any other atom which is present in its path, then kinetic energy, it gets changed to heat energy. And why this heat energy is produced, or when this is produced? When the moving electron collides with any atom or any material which is present in its path of motion. Present in its path of motion. So this kinetic energy, it gets changed to heat energy when collision occurs. So you can say that, you can simply say that the conversion of kinetic energy, the conversion of this kinetic energy to heat energy takes place at the time of collision between electron and any other particle which is present, which is opposing the motion of electrons. In turn, this kinetic energy which the electron initially had, it gets changed to heat energy. And this resistance, more would be the resistance, more would be the opposition in path of electrons, more would be the heat energy produced. Okay. So this is what is known as heating effect of electric current. So now I hope this is clear. So we'll be writing this effect in a form of a definition, that heating effect. What does the term heating effect of current means? When current represented by the symbol I, it flows through, when the current flows through a conductor, then due to the resistance offered by the conductor, the kinetic energy of electron changes to heat energy, and in turn this heat energy which is produced by the colliding electron, okay, and during, you can write during collision, kinetic energy of electron gets changes to heat energy during collision. And this change, that is this heat energy is this heat energy which is released when the current flows through a conductor is called the heating effect of electric current. So when current I flows through a conductor, then due to resistance offered by the conductor, the kinetic energy of electron changes to heat energy during collision. This heat released in the environment, this heat which is released due to flow of current is called as heating effect of electric current. Okay, so I hope the definition and the concept behind this definition, behind this effect is quite clear in your minds. I hope you understood the concept now. What do you have the heating effect of electric current as? So now after you know the heating effect of electric current, we'll be seeing different formulas which we use to find the magnitude of heat which is released out. So now we have to know the formula to calculate the amount of heat or magnitude of heat released. So the formula for calculation of amount of heat, then the heat released is represented by H. Okay, so you have three formulas, but I will be showing you a very simple derivation, how these formulas came. So according to Ohm's law, okay, firstly we'll be using, or let's say we'll be using the formula of potential. Why we are using the formula of potential? Because we are saying that heating effect is only observed when the current flows through a conductor. Flowing of current means actually the electrons are flowing. And why these electrons are flowing or going from one point of the wire to the other point of the wire? So to make the electrons flow from one point to other point, you know these electrons are flowing due to the difference in potential. Let's suppose this is a battery, what you have. This is the positive terminal and the negative terminal. This positive terminal signifies that this point, let us consider at A, it is positively charged, and the point which is connected, the B point which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery would have a negative charge. And here, and I told you battery is what? Battery is a source of potential. So here battery is a source of potential, that is point A is positive respective to point B. Positive here means point A has a high potential, then point B, it has a low potential. And we all know that motion of electrons would be from the lower potential to the higher potential. That is, this would be the motion of electrons. So for these electrons to move, you should have difference in potential, because this difference in potential causes the electrons to move. And whenever we were discussing potential, then I told you that the formula for potential is what? Potential or potential difference. Actually we are saying here potential difference. Potential difference is the work done to bring unit positive charge or a unit charge from one point to the other point. So for bringing this electron from one point to the other point, you have to do a work, okay? Because potential is what? Potential is equivalent to work done in bringing the charge, in moving the charge. So the formula is potential is work done upon charge Q. So work done upon charge gives you the value of potential, which means if I write it symbolically, then potential is W by Q. This provides us with the value of potential. Potential is W by Q. And now here, if I find what is the amount of work done, so I'll be transposing this Q to the left hand side. So I'll be getting potential into Q gives me the amount of work done. And we have already seen, you have read in your junior classes and in the topics whenever you read work, energy in your science textbooks, then we say that work and energy are two relative terms. Relative means the energy which the object will be having, the same amount of work it can perform. if the object has lower energy, then it will do very less work. So work and energy are both related to each other. So here you have work, which is equals to potential multiplied by charge. So instead of work, what we can say? You can even write it as energy, because just now I told you work and energy are equivalent terms. So energy or work is equivalent to product of potential and charge. So this was our first equation, and this came out to be our second equation. Now in heating effect, heat is being released out, and this heat is also a kind of energy. See, we have written heat energy is being released out during heating effect. So in turn, to calculate the value of heat, heat is also a kind of energy, and energy is V into Q. So this heat, which is represented by the letter H, so H would be V into Q. And this gives you the formula to calculate heat or heating effect of current. During heating effect, the amount of heat energy released is product of potential multiplied by charge. I hope this formula is clear. So we have one formula, we got one formula for heat, that is heat energy is V multiplied by Q. This is the first formula. Now what you can do, you can form many other formulas. So first you can make other formulas using Ohm's law. So if you use Ohm's law is V equals to I into R. So you will be getting this formula. Then put value of V from Ohm's law. Let's mark this equation as second and this one is first. So from equation 2 into equation 1. So here we are substituting V as IR. So I'll be getting H equals to, in place of V, we'll be writing, in place of V, I'll be writing IR. So V would be IR multiplied by Q. So this is again a form of heat. You can calculate heat when you are provided current R, resistance and charge Q. But now if I substitute, now put Q equals to, what is the value of Q? So we know that current is equals to charge per unit time. So from here if I find Q, then Q would be current into time. And this value, which is current into time, I am putting in this equation. So this, my third equation changes. H equals to I into R multiplied by Q. Q is what? Q is I into T. So the final formula which I get is I square RT. So this again gives you an important relation of heat. Okay. So this one would be the fourth equation, and equation fourth is also an important formula which is used to calculate the amount of heat when you are given current, resistance and time interval. So you can use this formula and know the amount of heat released in the process. Then one more formula, that is using our basic equation or using this equation. Heat is, if I use the first equation, heat is equals to V into Q. Heat is potential into charge. Then in this value, first I substituted the value of V. Now I can write heat is equals to, in place of Q, Q is I into T. So this again gives you one more formula of heat. When you just substitute the value of Q as I into T, then you get the formula, equation fifth, that heat is product of potential, current and time, V into I into T. Okay, so this is the first important formula. This also is used in numericals. This formula is also used in numericals. And now one more formula we can derive. Let's see. Heat would be what? I am substituting this I. So according to Ohm's law, I know V is equals to I into R. So the value of I which I will be getting here would be V upon R. So in place of this I am putting the value V upon R. So heat would be V multiplied by, instead of I am putting V upon R multiplied by time T. So the formula for heat which I will be getting is V square T upon R. So this again gives you a formula to calculate heat. So these are all the types of different formulas which you can use to calculate heat, and among them 4 of them, okay, these 4 formulas are the major ones which are generally used to calculate heat. So as a summary, we can say that you can learn 3 formulas or 4 formulas for heat. The first one is heat is equals to potential multiplied by charge. Then the next one is heat is equals to I square RT. The third one would be heat, you can call it to be V into I into T. And the fourth one would be heat is V square T by R. So these are the 4 formulas which you can use according to the question you are being given. If you are given in the question, you have been given current, resistance and time, then you can use this formula. If you are given the value of potential, current and not resistance, then you can use this formula. And the best one is, you can remember just this formula, H equals to V into Q. And here you can use, okay, remember just this one formula I am telling you. And then accordingly, whatever you are given in the question, instead of V, you can put I into R, and instead of Q, you can put I into T. If you substitute these values, then you can get all these formulas of heat. So it's best if you learn just this formula, if you have understood the derivation and the concept. What is in the derivation? You just have to put V equals to IR and Q equals to IT. And in the third case, you have to put both the values together. And so you can easily get all the formulas. But if not, then you can learn all these 4 formulas. Whatever way you find it easy to learn the formulas, or to learn just one formula and then deriving the others, keeping V equals to IR, Q equals to IT. You can get any kind of formula which you want. So you can choose accordingly what you find it more easier, but please do try to understand this derivation, because in exams, if you learn out all the formulas and by chance if you get confused, then if you remember that we have one basic formula, and in this, if I substitute the relevant values, I can make any of the formulas. So accordingly you can solve, okay? So once understand the derivation, how I substituted the values and found out all the formulas, the next one would be you can learn them. So this completes your topic, heating effect of electric current. And now we'll be discussing some of the applications which is related to heating effect. That is why this heating effect is useful. So its disadvantage, it is disadvantageous and advantageous both. Okay. So what are the disadvantages? Heating effect, whenever the heat is produced, so we say that our energy is lost in the form of heat. So firstly, we can discuss the disadvantage of heating effect. The most disadvantage thing which we have for heating effect is loss of energy in form of heat. So we are losing the energy in the form of heat. So this heat is a sort of wasteful process. So we can write loss of energy in form of heat, which can be a wasteful process, because this energy which is being lost, if this loss would not be there, then this energy would be used in making the systems work more properly. So the next one would be, due to heating effect, efficiency of the system is also lowered. So these are the disadvantage of heating effect. That is, energy is lost and efficiency is decreased. Now, can you say any of the advantages of heating effect? Or advantages means the use, where this heating effect is used. So all the electric devices which function on the principle of heating effect, like the geysers, toasters, the iron, the yellow bulb which we have, okay? So all these are the applications or the advantages of heating effect. That is, there are many electrical appliances which work on heating effect. For example, iron which we have, then you have geysers, then you have bulbs, Okay, so all these electric appliances, they are working on the phenomenon of heating effect of electric current. So you have been given, you have to remember some points. That is, if we consider the bulb. So in a bulb, what you have is, let's suppose this is the bulb, what we have. Okay, do not go on the diagrams because I am just making a rough sketch. So this is a kind of bulb what you have. And then these are the two electrodes, the two filament, and this is the filament. So this is the bulb which we have, and this bulb, it is connected to the rest of the circuit, and in turn we see that these are the two electrodes of the bulb which are joined by a very thin filament. This you have as a very thin filament. So now what is the use of this filament? This filament is made up of tungsten wire or of tungsten. Why we are using tungsten? Because we know that when the current flows through the bulb, when you have the flow of current inside the bulb, then this current, when it would pass through this wire, it would produce heating effect. And in turn, after some time, when you switch on the bulb, and after some time if you touch this bulb, it would be very hot. Okay, so please do not try to touch it. If you just move your hand near to the bulb, then also you can find the heat coming out of the bulb. It means here you can have the practical example for heating effect. Whenever a current is flowing through a device, its energy is being dissipated in the environment, released out in the environment in the form of heat. So one question comes that why the filament of the bulb is made up of tungsten and why not any other metal? Okay, so the simple answer would be, if I choose any other metal except tungsten here, then due to the flow of current, we know that current flows, due to which heat is produced, and this heat can be extremely high in amount, which can melt the filament wire. So in turn we are using tungsten because this tungsten, it has a very high resistance. So tungsten has a very high value of resistance. In turn, if the resistance is high, it means it can control the amount of current flowing through it, and instead of high resistance, it also has high melting point. That is, low amount of current flows through this tungsten, and the heat which is produced, it does not cause any harm to the tungsten filament because the melting point of tungsten is very high. It is approximately 3300 degrees Celsius. So this high amount of heat is not being generated in a small bulb. So this is the reason. And one more reason is there, that is why you have argon filled inside the bulb. Yes, these bulbs, they have a supply of argon, or argon gas is filled in this bulb because argon is a inert gas. That is, it is highly unreactive. And this argon, because it is highly unreactive, it does not allow oxygen to enter inside. If argon would not be present, and if oxygen enters inside, then this oxygen, it would react with this tungsten filament, and then this tungsten would get destroyed. Not getting destroyed because this tungsten, on reaction with oxygen, it would form tungsten oxide. Okay, so it would now not serve the purpose what we have. That is, it would not help to bulb to glow. So we have the argon gas, which is an inert gas, present inside our bulbs because this presents the entry of oxygen inside the bulbs, or it prevents the oxygen from reacting with the tungsten filament. So this is all the working of bulb. Then geysers and iron, they work on the same principle. That is, geyser also, they show the heating effect, and due to the heat produced, this heat produced is used in making the temperature of the water more or higher. And iron also works on the same principle, that is on the principle of heating effect. Then you frequently get a question of fuse. So what is a fuse? Fuse is employed in the circuits, in the domestic circuits which we have in our houses and all. So what is actually a fuse? Let's suppose you have, this is the meter which is being fixed, okay, the electric meter which we have. Then you have a fuse attached here, a fuse which is present near the meter. So what is happening is, one wire is going and one wire of the supply, it is passing through the fuse. So whenever the current increases here, if you have high voltage or high current, because we know that V is directly proportional to I. So whenever high voltage comes suddenly to our homes, then it means higher current would flow, and this high current, due to this, the fuse wire, it melts out, and now no more current can be supplied into the houses, which saves our electric circuits. So now we have, I hope this is clear. So now we have a next topic which is to be discussed. It is electric power. So electric power, okay, what is electric power? It is the energy, or it can be called as work done, rate of work done is electric power. Now you should know the formulas for power. So the basic formulas like we derived for heat. Heat was V by Q, and then power you can say work upon time, that is rate of work done. So now work is what? Instead of work, I told you, you can write energy and you can write heat energy. So we have heat energies, that is V by Q. Then the next formula of heat was I square RT. The next one was V square T by R. So these are some of the formulas, and one was VIT. So now for getting the formula of power, what you have to do, you have to divide this heat by time. So if you divide this heat by time, then you can get the formula of power. So what would be the formula of power? Power would be VQ upon T. Then this T gets cancelled, so power is I square R. Then you have V square by R. And then here you have VI. So all these formulas are for the calculation of power. Now you have one more thing, that is what is the unit of power. So unit of power is watt, and the commercial unit. So the commercial unit of power is called as unit itself, yes, or you can call it to be kilowatt hour. Now you have to understand what do you mean by kilowatt hour. So see, 1 kilowatt hour is equal to what? Generally the power which we are measuring, it is measured in watts, and the bigger unit is kilowatt hour, which is itself known as unit. So we have to find the relation between kilowatt hour and joules. So we can say 1 kilowatt hour means 1000 watt. 1 kilowatt means 1000 watt, and 1 hour means 60 into 60 seconds. Because you have 1 hour equals to 60 minutes and 1 minute equals to 60 seconds. So 1 hour would be what? 60 into 60 seconds. So 1 kilowatt hour means 1000 watt multiplied by 60 into 60 seconds. And joule is what? Joule is watt per second. Okay, you can see from the formula of power. Power is what? Work upon time. Work we are measuring in joules, and time we are measuring in second. So what is joule per second? So now we have to find the relation between kilowatt hour and joule. So 1 kilowatt hour would be 6 is 36. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So 36 into 10 raised to the power 5 joules. And then 1 kilowatt hour would be what? 3.6 into 10 raised to the power 6 joules. So this is the simple relation between kilowatt hour and joules. I hope this is clear. Okay. So we have done the unit electric, the topic electric power, and this completes your chapter, that is electricity. I hope you understood heating effect of current and power, the topic of power. So this is all for today. Thank you for joining today's class, and if you have any sort of queries or doubts, you can contact us anytime. Till then, stay home, stay safe, keep studying, and keep following us. Thank you.